everybody. Welcome to the women's game. We are live. It is just minutes after the final whistle of the USA versus Germany semifinal at the 2024 Paris Olympics. We just beat Germany 1-0 in extra time, thanks to a miracle. What a wonderful goal by Sophia Smith in the 95th minute. It was another exhausting game. We had another Emma Hayes fit check we've been talking about. We had more leg sleeves out there than we've ever seen before. And we had another gutsy, gritty performance from this U.S. team to get through their fifth game in 13 days and pull out yet another win. I am feeling so proud of this U.S. team, so stoked. We are going to break down this performance, good, bad, everything. But first, let me introduce my co-host today, back for the second time this tournament. It's U.S. Women's National Team and Gotham FC forward, Midge Purce. Midge, thank you so much for coming back and being with us again.
Thanks for texting me and inviting me, Sam. Anything for you.
Hey, all I got to do is shout out Midge and Lisa, and there you are.
I come running for you, Sammy.
Oh, it's so good to know. It makes me feel so good. I'm so happy to have you back here today. Midge is the inventor of Midge's Fashion Minute. We might try to talk her into giving us another one of those today. Midge, we had you on earlier this tournament after the very first game. This time, again, we're here to break down this semifinal. Moments after the final whistle, we are reacting in real time. This is a Do It Live presented by our great friends at Olipop, which means you, our listeners, are here with us and you can ask us questions about the game or about anything you want. Here's how. Just scan the QR code in the top left of your screen. It will take you into a Zoom with our producer who will get you set up to ask your question. It's audio only. Don't worry, you're not going to be on screen. We'll get to your questions a little bit later in the broadcast, but go ahead and get your questions in now. For those of you who don't want to ask a question, do us a huge favor and just give us a like. It helps us a lot more than you know. Make sure that you are following along with us on this Women's Game YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We have so much Olympics coverage dropping around each and every U.S. Women's National Team game, this tournament and beyond. So turn those notifications on. Get an alert every time we go live. I see some of you are already in this chat. A Slight Lap says, I love this team so much. McNuggets says, Uncle with the foot. We are going to get to that, Midge. How about Uncle with the foot? But let's start at the very beginning. We'll get to your questions in just a few minutes. But let's go all the way back. Today was the first Olympics game, this tournament, in which the 18 roster players that we brought to France were all dressed and on the bench available. We've been going through some injury issues so far. So we see Tierna Davidson and Emily Fox in the lineup, despite Tierna's injury and Foxy coming on at the end, coming off the field at the end of that Japan game. So it's our OG starting lineup, a fully fit bench. Midge, how did that make you feel going into this? Were you relieved?
Oh, gosh, it wasn't even relief. I found it so heartening. And I feel like you probably felt the same way because it's not just you're looking at a roster, but like these are your friends and Tierna being back and Foxy being back. And you feel so good. Relief and heartening just to see that they're healthy and even better than healthy, that they're able to compete at an Olympic Games. Like that's how good they're feeling. It was great.
I know there's definitely been some injury concern and questions. And like you said, Midge, I think first and foremost, we always feel that for our friends and for the players as human beings. But then considering we want this team to be full strength, it was all that much more sweet to just see them back out there healthy, ready to go. The game was like, we were texting a little bit during the game, Midge. We couldn't really get a firm grasp on what exactly to feel about the game. The first half was good. We had a great transition moment early on. Trinity Rodman was breaking down the right wing. She slotted it centrally to Mal Swanson, who kind of just let it run onto Rose Lavelle, but Rose's shot was a little bit too close to German goalkeeper Ann-Katrin Berger. Sophia Smith had a shot on target. Tierna had a header in the box. So definitely a positive start. We had a few set pieces. The attack was looking fluid, but there were signals early on. This was going to be way more open of a game than I anticipated. I kind of thought Germany would take a note out of Japan's playbook and sit in deep and try to frustrate us. Midge, were you surprised how open the first half was, or was this kind of what you expected?
Surprised and not surprised. I mean, after you lose 4-1 to a team, I feel like your headspace is, one, it's really hard to beat us twice. Like that's how, if I'm Germany, that's what I'm thinking. It's going to be hard to beat us twice. You're not going to beat us like that again. I mean, they also didn't have Pop. They lost some of their like serious,
Leah Schuler too.
Serious ballers. So
yeah.
I was surprised, but I feel like top teams in the world, they're like, no, like we don't fear you yet. Like you beat us 4-1, beat us earlier in the year. We don't fear you to the extent where we're going to sit in a block. And I don't expect that from Germany. I thought Anne was fantastic.
And Katrin Berger, the Germany goalkeeper, was fantastic.
She's
Stopping
the Gotham goalkeeper.
Give us a little inside scoop on AKB.
Oh my gosh. First of all, so I actually haven't gotten a chance to play with her. And I remember in the first practice after my surgery, I got back and I didn't know she was there. Like I had turned off everything. Like I hadn't seen anything. And I walk up to training and they're playing 11s. And the keeper like just nails this dime, like breaks 2 lines, a dime into the 9, just like drills it. And I like,
who is this B?
I said, who's that? I said, who's that? They're like, that's Anne. I said, who is Anne? And she was, from then on, she was fantastic. And going into this game, you know, her having 4 goals let in before, I knew she was going to be tough to beat, and she was tough to beat. She had so many good saves, good moments, because what I would say is, like you said, in the first half, not even first half, the first 90 minutes, we made opportunities. We created opportunities that, you know, every now and then you might expect to go in. You might want to leave that 90 minutes for like 2-0. And she made fantastic saves. She was phenomenal.
She did. I thought she had a really, really great game. As far as the U.S., I thought that the midfield maybe looked a little bit more confident with Sam Coffey back in there, but it still really throughout the game seems like our most vulnerable area on the field right now. Germany was putting a lot of pressure on us centrally on Lindsey Horan, trying to cause turnovers, trying to really jumpstart their transition from that spot. I thought our wide play continued to impress, though. And Midge, you actually mentioned to me that you noticed Trinity and Rose were both looking confident, enjoying themselves, trying things. Tell us what you saw from Trinity and Rose today.
Yeah, I mean, I think Trinity's having the tournament of her life. I think she has hit this level of confidence where she can try things and they can fail, and she's unbothered by it. It's like she's indifferent to it. And that honestly is a really, really difficult thing to do, or have that kind of freedom as a forward. And I think she's completely earned it. I mean, I saw her, she was trying to let the ball go through between her legs. She was making players, heels, all the things. And Rose, you know, Rose is always doing her thing. She was cheeky. The two of them had a couple of like little combinations that were cute. Mm-hmm. I like to call them cute because that's what it was. It was adorable.
Yeah, I think this kind of makes you go like, ooh, like that. Yeah, that was cute, Rose. That little back heel. I know, I liked that.
It was cute. Yeah,
it was cute. A couple cute moments out there. Defensively, we looked pretty solid. Like we get exposed occasionally, maybe on a counterattack or like a mistake, a turnover. But we have Naomi Girma, and then worst case, we have Alyssa. Naomi came up huge in the first half on this one-on-one slide tackle in the box. Our defensive transition looked too intense for Germany. Like Germany didn't have enough numbers getting forward with the same urgency that we were getting back. There was this one play, we chased back with like 8 players running full speed, and they had 2 people like half-heartedly trying to get in the box. Germany was most dangerous on set pieces, and there were a few isolated attacks that were good around the 24th minute. Eula Brand dribbled about 20 yards down kind of the left center side of the field. She got a great shot off. It was saved by Alyssa and cleaned up by Crystal Dunn. And then Julia Gvin's corner kick delivery was another pretty clear threat throughout the game. I was never overly concerned, though, Midge. What did you make of Germany's attack or of our defense?
So kind of in the same vein when you were talking about Germany was kind of open, like I felt that they were more open than Japan, obviously, but I did think they were a bit reserved. Like they didn't send numbers flying forward. I mean, it was kind of like you saw them get into the box and you're like, well, I'm not that scared. There's not many people in there. That being said, their attack was strong. Naomi is like player of the match for me.
Player of the universe.
To be quite honest, Naomi is player of the tournament for me. Like you look at the goals that we've allowed, like the goals against.
I think one, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Look, to me, it's in Naomi we trust.
I know.
To me, it is in Naomi we trust, because she has been absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely incredible. Not only, and I have multiple more mentions of Naomi throughout this conversation we're about to have. Not only is she like snuffing out Germany's attack, but she wins that ball. She intercepts passes calmly in our box. And then she dribbles out. She plays out. She keeps it going. She becomes the first step in our attack. And it's so crucial. And she's being such a game changer in those moments. Like almost it's like I can't even talk about it. It's so important to us.
She honestly, if I could clone her, I would put her in the midfield, to be quite honest.
I know.
When she got that ball before, it's still 0-0. When she got that ball in the back line, intercepted it, started driving forward as if she was a 10, looks up, sees her 9 in the middle of the pitch. It's like, okay, I'm just going to lob this ball over and just a little bit of a bend on it so it slows down for you. Almost finishing the game in normal time. Like she's absolutely fantastic. Every cross, she was there. I was like, if I'm the other coach, I'm literally like, I don't care if there's 3 players in this pocket where she is, find another spot, play it somewhere else. She's gonna win it. She's been fantastic.
Thank you for articulating that, because I was really just struggling to, all I wanted to do was say again, who is this B? She's so good. What is up? Another B that's so good. Crystal Dunn continues to impress at a left back, especially early on in the game, both sides of the ball. She's pushing higher up the field. She was allowing Mal Swanson to come inside, but then she's also tracking back. She's drawing fouls. She's playing these balls with the outside of her foot in and around behind the defense. She's like doing double duty, just like Naomi Girma. She's snuffing out attacks and then starting our attack. And I want to talk for a second specifically about Crystal, because Crystal had a weird year. She wasn't starting at left back pretty much all year. She was behind Jenna Neiswanger. She was having a weird transition into the Gotham starting lineup. What have you seen from her this year that has led to her now being in really great form at the Olympics?
Gosh, I mean, I can't speak enough about Crystal, and this is actually a really hard topic for me to talk about, because I feel like I've been next to her during this year, which has been really tough objectively watching from the outside.
Yeah.
Her relentlessness it's unreal. And I think every single player on the roster, if you were to zoom into their personal stories, almost every player would have a story of relentlessness that people have no idea about, that they don't understand. Like, you could say the same thing, kind of, a little bit, of Soph. Soph wasn't starting. Alex was starting when we were in these other tournaments. She was coming in, she was scoring goals, and she still wasn't in that 11. And now look at her. She's taking us into the gold medal match. But Crystal has been phenomenal. She's a total player. She's always been a total player. And it's unfortunate and a disservice to the purity of the game that she hasn't consistently been given the flowers that she's deserved.
Very well said, Midge. I really, really appreciate that. I am a huge Crystal Dunn stan, and I think her role this tournament has been so huge for this team.
Oh.
When I start thinking about something Crystal does really well, getting forward, getting crosses in the box, starting to play those wingers in behind so that they can get crosses in the box, I need to bring up something that I've been noticing throughout this tournament. Our runs in the box for crosses are kind of late. So we're getting wide players. We're getting Mal or Trinity or even Sophia or Rose or Crystal. We're getting them wide. They're crossing. And this could be in transition where they're kind of laying it behind the back line, or this could just be in the run of play in an organized attack. Sometimes I think this is a typical issue, Midge, when you have such fast forwards. When they break in behind, the central players can't keep up. And if they get that cross off too soon, then the runners are behind them because they've been on a full sprint breaking free. And those central players are just slow to catch up and make that run in the box. But at a certain point, you have to get there and make the commitment to get there, and your run be on the back line as that ball is coming across the face of goal. I feel like I keep seeing these balls coming across the face of goal, and we're still at the top of the box, or we're 5 yards behind and the back line is clearing it.
Midfield?
The midfield, or even the central players, the player that's not wide getting it. So I want to hear from you, when you're at times a wide player getting balls across that face of goal, how would you feel if over and over again your runners were too late?
Oh, I mean, I've had that experience, and all I do is I look at the coach. I'm like, you can say something? Because is someone going to say, are you going to say, do you want to tell them that they need to get in the box? Because someone needs to. I mean, this is the thing. That is a very fast front three. It is a really hard front three to catch up to. And I'll say that even if like Trin is the one getting in on goal, if she's like 10, 15 yards ahead, Mal is super fast. Soph is super fast. That is still really hard to catch.
It's still 10, 15 yards ahead.
It's still 10, 15 yards ahead. So, I mean, I give that to them, but I also think that's part of the game. Like, they're not going to be there every time. I mean, I feel like potentially, maybe. I feel like your time on the national team, y'all were there every time. So that could possibly be the distinction.
We were told if you are not there, you will literally not be out there next time. So you better be there. And it's not like I'm saying that should be like this over looming threat of like, if I don't get there, I'll be yanked. But there needs to be an urgency because it's a tap in.
Yeah. Yeah. No. I too was there during that era. And I as well remember if I don't get to this spot, I'll never be called in again.
Yeah.
That being said, also, I mean, I don't know why it's happened. I will say that I think the front three, the trident that they have been named cleverly, has been doing a fantastic job producing opportunities. And I would agree with you in saying that we have not capitalized off of them because we don't have all the numbers in the box. Agree.
Okay, cool. I'm glad we're on the same page with that one. So we go into halftime, and I think it was kind of like, all right, like there's nothing really wrong. It's 0-0. The game's kind of open. Both teams have had the ball. Both teams have created some chances. It was entertaining. The game was like pretty end to end, but there was not like a clear through line or a clear advantage necessarily. We got 7 shots. 5 of them were on target, which to me felt intentional. We had a couple shots, I think, you could almost see gears turning, like, make sure you get this on target. Going into halftime with just this kind of like feeling, what do you think they'd speak about? What do you think went on in the locker room at halftime?
You keep asking me to talk about what they're talking about at halftime. Sam, I don't know what they're talking about at halftime. Okay. Like, I think that they are allowed to shoot to the moon because I think in all of the games, everyone is just taking shots. And like, you don't see people getting upset when they're missing the frame in the way that I feel like traditionally people get upset when someone takes a shot and misses the frame. It's like, oh, she took a shot, she missed the frame, let's go again. And I think potentially because, I mean, I would like to see the possession, but I feel like I'm watching us in their half game after game after game for like 85% of the game and just repeated attacks over and over and over again. So you can't get, like, if you're creating and producing that many opportunities, I think that you kind of do have this greater like standard deviation for error than you normally would.
I'm just still computing standard of deviation, and I think I know what it means, but I am going to move us on just in case I don't. So we come back up from halftime. Emily Sonnet subbed in for Tierna Davidson, who we kind of know has been struggling with this knee contusion. She picked it up earlier in the tournament. Emily Sonnet has been holding it down for her for the last couple of weeks. She's back on.
I do have to say, like, it is actually so hard to come back. She missed 2 games.
Yep.
She was injured and she came back in seamless.
Yeah.
Handled it so well. And like Tierna is so good at being dependable. Like that's her middle name. It probably is literally Tierna Dependable.
I know.
Davidson. TDD. She was so good. I was like, are they going to keep her in? Because she looks like she can keep going. She did fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of her. My Virgo sister.
I know. She got to rest that little knee contusion up. She has an extra day of rest now, which is fortunate for all of us. Going back to our play, Julia Brand on Germany continued to cause some trouble for us. She was like dribbling around the box. She created some dangerous moments. I thought she was at times like splitting through our midfield. And then kind of like tactically, formationally, Crystal and Rose seemed to be the players operating on that left side. Like Mal was playing kind of as a double 9. She was sometimes even further across the field than Soph. So I think tactically we were probably trying to occupy both German center backs to have somebody out wide get isolated one-on-one with an outside back. But what I actually think happened, I didn't really like some of this tactical play. It made us really vulnerable in the midfield. Germany started to like pick up some momentum, create some chances early in that second half. And it actually had me kind of being like, oh, we might be like losing the momentum here a little bit. Did you have the same feeling?
Yeah, I mean, and I also thought that we didn't really get a lot of 1v1s on the wing. I thought that
I
it was
know.
2v1 on the wing almost every time, which was really smart by them. I would do the same thing. And I agree. I think they gave more space in the midfield and said, we're going to take this and give you that. But I mean, listen, I had a coach, Jesus. He's the one who told me that football is like chess. When you give something, you got to take away something. It's like they chose to give away the midfield, and I think it worked for them. I think they put a lot of eggs in their basket when it comes to depending on the back line. And honestly, if I have Tierna Davidson and Naomi centrally, and I have Sam Coffey, who's being a bruiser, and she's like breaking things up out of her mind right now, yeah, I'll give you the midfield too. Go ahead, try.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think knowing Germany had so many quality players out wide, it is fair enough to give them more space through the middle. I think there were a few instances where it was, again, feeling like Germany kept breaking through. And I just would have liked to see us clog that up a little bit better. I think Rose playing so wide, and then we make this other sub. Lynn Williams comes on. So now Rose, who's in that 10 position, she's operating in between the seams, in between their midfield line and their back line. Now we're losing that on offense, and we're losing, honestly, a third midfielder on defense. And the R26s, who were already a little bit vulnerable, have a little bit even less support. So Lynn Williams comes on the field, obviously a forward. Mal does end up sliding out a little bit more to the left. And it seems like we're really going for it. We don't want to play 30 extra minutes. Almost immediately after this change, that's when Mal got in on goal. She goes around Ann-Katrin Berger, but the shot goes wide and she would have been offside anyway. The game now is just really continuing to be end to end. Are you trying to avoid extra time at this point, Midge? Like if you're Emma or if you're a player on the field, are you like, we just have to score, like we can't do this again? Or are you like biding your time and trying to see what happens?
I don't know if that's the right perspective. I would be shocked if in a semifinal game it's 0-0, you're playing Germany, your one thought is we can't go into extra time. I think it was just a moment like we need a goal. I think that's what it was. I think it was like we're pushing numbers forward. I have all these amazing attackers. I want to get them on the ball. Like, let's put numbers forward. I will say I was puzzled with the Lynn for Rose swap. It was a bit bemusing. But yeah, I guess it all worked out in the end.
Well, what was puzzling about it to you?
Well, one, I couldn't figure out their formation after.
Our formation.
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what they were playing. I was like, is this a 4-2-4? Is this a 3-2-5? Like, is that even the right numbers?
It was yeah, you and me were talking about it. We were playing offense as like a 3-2-5, depending on where Crystal was. It also could have been like a 4-2-4.
It looked like a 4-2-4 to me. Yeah. And honestly, as a forward, as a winger, I was like, how fun that looks. That looks really exciting as an attacker. But no, I was shocked by the change. I'm always shocked to see Rose come off in a 0-0 game where you need a goal. That's shocking to me. She's someone who I would be like, get her on the field, especially someone who scored goals in big moments like this and knows how to do it. And she's an engine. She doesn't get tired. So that was shocking. Yeah.
And so I guess my question tactically, if you're thinking about us playing with like playing out of a 4-back, 3-back with 2 6s, and then 4 or 5 players pushed high on the back line, we're missing that player like Rose who can turn in the pocket and dribble, who can occupy the space in front of their back line. And I think that Mal can do that. I think a player like Jaden Shaw could do that if she's ready to get subbed into this game. But I think for a little bit there, it's exactly what we were missing by subbing Rose out.
See, I'll push back and I'll say yes and no. I say yes and no because I think what's really cool about the way that Emma has them playing is that your 4-2-4, it's so fluid that you do have Mal coming down into that seam. You have Soph coming down into that seam. And you have players who can come in, pick up that ball, pop off the line, turn, and dish it out. And I think that's kind of how the goal happened. You had Sam Coffey get it on the half turn, play Mal dribbles, slips in. So it's similar to that, but I do think it did take them a lot of time to figure that out, that it was really a flat 4 on that line, just like on your marks.
Yeah.
Get set.
Exactly. I think you like exactly to your point, you need Mal and Soph to check off in turn. And honestly, even out wide, Trinity can do that. Trinity can drop low and ask that outside back to come with her and open up a space in the back line. There was just moments in that second half as the game was winding down that it didn't seem right. Another reason, and something else that was really challenging for us today, is it was a super physical and aggressive game. Like, I think if Germany made any tactical change, it was to crunch some tackles. And it was really, really effective. They had 11 fouls against us in the first half, which equals the most by any team and a half during this Olympics.
Yeah.
As the game went on, the tackles like must add up. Like, I think it became disruptive to our rhythm. It became really physically grueling. I think you're getting exhausted. Then you're getting hit. Then our counterattack is getting stuffed out. It's another foul. It's disruptive again. Do you think that starts to get in players' heads, Midge, especially when this is like your 5th game in 13 days and you're getting exhausted every time you lay the ball off that you're just going to get hit? Do you start to think about that?
Yeah, and I think it's fantastic coaching on Germany's part. I would tell my team to do the exact same thing. I'd be like, rough them up, okay? Like, nobody gets an easy pass without getting killed. And Sam, you know the exact same thing. You know how annoying it is. First of all, you are that type of player. That, like, you are the type of player where you get a ball, it's you know that you're not going to win it. You, as in Sam Lewis, you know you're not going to win it. And as this person is passing it, you're still giving them like a big bump. And it's so annoying.
You got to do it.
I hate it.
You got to use what you got, Midge. You got to use what you got.
Yeah, I hate it. I hate it.
So yeah, but it is. It's distracting. It's frustrating. It's disruptive to the play. And I think it was fairly, like, honestly, I mean, it's not like Germany got a bunch of red cards out there. Like, it is part of the game, like being physical, being aggressive. Like, they pretty fairly gave us a little bit of like physical play, and it was really effective for them. We made 2 changes going into extra time. Jenna Neiswanger came on for Crystal Dunn, and Corbin Albert came on for Lindsay Horan. This was like another, I think both subs were good subs, but we're subbing off experience and we're subbing on fresh legs. What did you make of these changes at this point in the game, Mitch? Like 2 younger players coming on in a huge moment. Did you feel like they were ready and prepared to step up in this moment?
Yeah, I guess. They did fine. I think I feel like it's the front 3 who have been putting in so much work. And you saw Sophia Smith in the back, like left corner defending. Dude, she had actually a really sick little move. She got out of there. And I was like, okay, so do your thing back there. No, they were working so hard. Like, the work rate of the front 3 is something that I don't think gets enough credit. I think people talk about their skill and their production a lot, which is fantastic. Obviously, it's the point. It's how you get on the field. But I think that's a product of their work rate, and it's so relentless, and they don't stop. And they are like, you know, the box to box midfielder. They're end line to end line attackers. Like, true,
especially in this game. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that those are like, as an attacker, you're up 1-0. You're going. That's probably who I would assume would want to come out of a game like that. But no, I thought Jenna did fantastic. I thought the changes worked. They didn't have a ton of clear-cut chances. So yeah.
Yeah, I think getting fresh legs out there was smart. I was a little bit thinking ahead, like, okay, this could go into penalty kicks. Like, are we sure we're subbing off Lindsay? Are we sure we're subbing off? I don't know who are taking the penalty kicks. I know Jenna has taken them. Could have been in Emma Hayes' like long-term plan. I'm sure it was. She seems like the Dumbledore of this U.S. Women's National Team. She just knows the whole plan already. This is what I haven't. I know. Wasn't that a good analogy?
Wait, Sam, what's your house? Oh my gosh, what can I guess?
Oh, what's my Hogwarts house?
Obviously.
Oh, wait, sure, guess.
Is it obvious?
I mean, like, no, I don't even really like know. I just want to know what you think.
Oh, okay. You truly, honestly, at your core of cores, might be Gryffindor.
That is literally so nice of you. Like, my My insecure side is just like, yeah, I'm like Hufflepuff. I think I'm like a blend of like all of them because I do have like a little evil side, but I'm also like a bookworm.
Well, no. Gryffindor doesn't have an evil side, so that's not that.
Doesn't Slytherin kind of have an evil side?
I would say that's a misrepresentation of a house. I feel like that's taking, a couple of people and saying that that's the whole thing.
Oh my God, you might be right, Mitch. Okay.
I myself am Slytherin, but we can move on.
Oh my God, that's actually so hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, we are going to move on. We are going to move on to the Gryffindor of all Gryffindors again. Naomi Girma. This is what I literally wrote in my notes, Midge. Can we just have 2 or better yet 3 Naomi Girmas? Like Emma Hayes told journalists after the game, look, she's the best defender I've ever seen ever. She's so freaking good. This is when we talked about this a little bit earlier. This is when she's intercepting the ball, dribbling up, almost assisting Mal, who ended up missing or being offside. Like Naomi's influence on this game as the game went on only got stronger. And as it like that is so vital. Like that's gold medal winning team status is to have a player like this be this good all game.
She's the core of the team. She's literally everything. Like that girl, we have yet to see the type of impact she will have on the game, but she is like the model, the prototype for a center back. And I honestly think for the men's and the women's game, like
I know
Tim Ream, watch out. Like I actually think that she might be like in terms of player profile and ability, the best center back that our country has seen.
Something we don't even like really talk much about because she's positionally always in the right spot. She's making all the tackles. She's distributing so well is that she's physically so equipped. She's also like wicked fast. And even if she was a little bit out of position, which she never is, she can get there.
She's physically superior. She makes it look so easy. And that is what I think separates like really, really good players, honestly, great players from generational talents. She makes it look seamless and it's incredible.
Freaking God bless. Okay, so finally, we're in extra time. We finally get the breakthrough. The Olipop moment of the match. Mal Swanson, this is what we were talking about, Midge. Mal Swanson gets the ball in seam 2, that space, that really important space in between the opponent's midfield and back line. She turns, she plays Sophia Smith in behind, and from where I'm watching, I'm kind of like, is Ann-Katrin Berger going to get this? Is the defender going to get it? And all of a sudden, Soph is getting there first. She's like slotting it home into an empty net because Ann-Katrin Berger came way out to make a play on it. The relief, the joy. Midge, what did you like so much about this goal?
Oh, I mean, special player, special moment, big stage. I mean, I love everything about it. I love that it was Soph. I love that she got that late big tournament goal and extra like that's what you want to see from someone who has been prolific in her career, have like that big moment that sends your team into something super special. Yeah. So I mean, it was beautiful, great decision, and I'm really proud of her.
I know. I thought it was a really great finish, really great play by Mal. Such an important moment. And once we have that goal, you're at this stage in the tournament. Now it's like we just have to survive. We just have to get through the next 25, 20 minutes, however much time is left. So my question is, in my experience, this team, an Olympic team heading into the final, the gold medal game, would have gone over this scenario a lot. Like you would have had multiple training sessions where you play 11v11 and you play like you're up a goal or you play like you're down a goal. So everybody on the field knows exactly what the coach wants them to do. Emma has not had very much time with this team. And I wonder if they had gone over that, or do you think the knowledge of what to do is so ingrained in all of us by this point in our careers that everybody was just on the same page anyway?
No, Foxy was running with that throw-in. Did you see that?
So tell us first what you're supposed to do. What do you want to see up a goal, time ticking down?
I I need you to waste time. I like you need to be an asshole. Like you need to waste time. You need to be a brat about it. Foxy like gets the ball, like runs over and gets the ball for throwing. The thing is though, Foxy knows exactly what to do. Like Foxy mentally vet, like she knows exactly what to do. And I want to go back because I think Emma whispered to her under her breath, like, walk.
Yeah.
Because she's like jogging to throw in, and then Emma's like says something and then like turns around and walks away, and then Foxy starts walking, and like I too was yelling at her to like.
It's like, one of these. It's when your teammate is like this.
You know who does that? Rose. Rose always, guys.
Yeah, so I mean, you gotta waste time. You gotta walk in the throw-ins. You gotta like maybe tie your shoe. God forbid.
Get a yellow. Pull a yellow. Who cares?
If you can get a yellow, I'm kind of like, yeah. I mean, I guess it's time to get one.
Kick the ball out of bounds. Like who? Like listen. Nobody's. Was it Chloe Kelly? I think in the World Cup last year, I think she either kicked a ball onto the field or kicked like a ball. She kicked a ball off the field, and I was like, "That's what I like."
You got room for it. It's a final. If you can get a yellow, you got to get it now.
Give me a yellow. First of all,
what are you saving it for?
Pat your stats with the yellow. I don't frown upon a yellow. Looks nice. Looks like you're mentally you're in there. Looks like you won it. Passion in the game.
If you don't get a yellow, you didn't try hard enough.
You went through a tournament. Like a world tournament, and you didn't get one yellow, and you were up. But like, come on, no. I
We've got strong feelings about the time wasting, me and Midge. All right, so we're getting through last minutes, last seconds of the game, and we have some situation in the box. It's like a free kick. It gets all like scruffed up. They reserve it in. I think they must have been offside. God help us. But somebody heads it. Alyssa Nair star jumps. Saves it with her freaking foot. It was a thing of glory. She saved us. Where would we be in this world without Alyssa Nair in goal?
Do you actually want me to answer that?
Yeah, I do.
Like maybe not through. Like I like potentially. No, she's fantastic. I mean, she's like I said, she's you beat everybody, and it's still like you somehow get beyond Naomi because she's like. I don't know,
exactly.
Tying her shoe, drinking a cup of water. I don't know. You get by her somehow, and you still have to be Alyssa. Like, it's crazy. It's nuts.
Well, I know. Our two stands of this game are actually the two highest percentage votes for player of the game. Naomi Girma got 58%. Alyssa Nair, 23%. Sophia Smith, the game-winning goal scorer, only had 14% because these other two performances were that incredible. We are joyously moving into the gold medal match on Saturday. We had another extra time victory, and these extra time wins are showing me this team has the guts to go the distance and the ability to score big time goals in the hugest of moments. And Midge, you mentioned this a little bit, but our forwards this tournament have each stepped up in uniquely important ways. Midge, you are also a player known for stepping up in the biggest of moments. What does it feel like to kind of like be the hero in a game like this and be the player everybody's like, thank you?
Oh my gosh, Sam, you have also been a player to step up in big moments like this.
Well, you go first.
You want me to tell the truth? It feels great. Like
you're like, yes, I know everybody.
It feels exactly. It feels exactly how you imagine they're feeling. They're feeling incredible, on top of the world, and it makes all of those runs you did worth it. It makes getting hammered, pummeled on the ground, like whatever you're going through, it makes everything worth it, and that's the joy of sports. And I think that's why the Olympics, we're getting really, really like global now, philosophical. That's why sports are so incredible, because one moment has the ability to pay off and then some every negative challenge that you went through. Now your turn.
I completely agree. It feels really, really good. It feels like kind of you're like grateful for the attention, but you're also kind of like, okay. But I do want to know, like, what I would do almost immediately is be like, I need to see the goal. Like, can I have somebody's phone? Like, can I watch my goal? How quick do you think Sophia Smith was like, show me?
Oh, I think all of them. Like, they go straight to the locker room. Thanks. Let me use the bathroom.
Check the phone. Need to see it. Need to see it. Need to see if it was sick. Like, need to see if I did if it looked like on screen how it looked in my head.
Because you know what sucks? You know what sucks? When you do something in the game and you're like, in your head, you're like, that was nasty. Like, that was so cool. And then you see it in film and you're like, oh.
Yeah. Like, well, yeah.
That didn't look as
it felt
as
really
great
good,
as
though.
It felt so good. But looking at it now, I get why everybody else wasn't hyping me up.
But everybody's hyping Soph up on that goal. Everybody's hyping Mal up on that pass. Everybody's hyping Uncle up on that kick save. Let's go. Yes. This team finds itself approaching a gold medal game this weekend with the chance to win the Olympics, Midge, just 1 year after exiting the World Cup in the first knockout round game. Such a disappointing World Cup performance. I want to know, how meaningful is this? Does this mean as much as it feels like it means? Like, we will be gold medalists or silver medalists at this Olympics. How much of this is due to Emma Hayes, and how much does this mean?
That's a hard question.
I know. I think it's a really hard question. I think you go first.
Listen, I'll tell you why it's a hard question. It's a hard question because there's so much rhetoric around record of the U.S. women's national team, around when we're not doing well, when we are doing well, and like the bigger picture of what that means. And everyone likes to comment on it. And I don't like to feed those narratives in the way that I think my answer could.
Okay.
That being said, it's a huge moment. It's a huge accomplishment. Like, we can't act like winning the Olympics is a small feat after the way that we bowed out of the World Cup. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, it's a testament to the players. It's a testament to the new tactics that Emma brought in. I think it's a testimony to this new direction and the moment of all of these younger players finally hitting this world stage level of brilliance that, like, we've been waiting for in this shift from like the old generation to the new generation. It's a testament, and that's what I'll say.
I think that's a really smart answer, and it makes a lot of sense. I think I was asked coming into this tournament, what would success, and I asked actually a lot of players this question, what would success look like? And to try to put something tangible around that, does success look like medaling? And in my opinion, if you had asked me this 3-4 weeks ago, yes, success for this team at this point would have looked like medaling. And we were pretty much there today. Like, a shot to compete for a medal was always on the table, whether we won or lost today. Being in the final, I think, is a huge testament to this team rising above the pressure that's been put on them, rising above the doubt that's been cast on them for the past year. And it's a huge testament to the bond that has formed between these players and Emma, the trust that is there. Emma has barely been here. Like, she has implemented a lot, and she has gained a lot of trust from these players. So I agree with you. Your wording is perfect. This is a huge testament to the growth of this team and where this team can continue to grow to. But I want us to freaking win. I want gold. I want gold now. I'm like, gold is the gold standard is what I'm going for. We freaking need it. Okay. We have reached the part of the show where we get to hear from you all, our listeners who have been with us.
Hey. We can break down some fashion. There are some things that we need to talk about.
Midge, I'm so glad you came around. All right, it's time for Midge's Fashion Minute. Go for it, Midge.
Okay, we're going to start off negatively because that feels right. I didn't like the red shorts.
They weren't my favorite either, I admit.
I didn't like them. I thought they looked bad. This is what I thought. I didn't
like them, thought they looked bad. Very straightforward answer from Midge on the shorts.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the fact that it resembled Washington Spirit. It just didn't look
Are you sure?
Good. I don't know. Maybe I do have some type of angst like subconsciously, but it didn't look good. And there's something about the blue shorts that just feels super traditional, and I love it on the world stage. I don't know if it was the shade of red. Nike's gonna kill me, don't care, didn't like it. Think it should be something else. Now let's move on. With the red shorts, we also paired one-legged red sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be a travesty, a disservice, if I did not personally thank Asia Wilson on behalf of the entire women's soccer community for pioneering the way for us to have the one-legged sleeve. And kudos to Lynn Williams to be the person to bring this over into our world, into our women's soccer universe, and be the first to do it. It is hard to be the first. It's fantastic. And I have to speak on it because Rose was sporting it as well today. And I thought to myself, fantastic. Will I sport one? Absolutely. Not a red one, but a white one in an all-white kit. Can't wait for it. But I'm also curious, where are they getting them from?
Oh, time out. I want to, for anybody listening, is the red leg sleeve a fashion statement, or is it a medical support system for the leg?
The beauty of it is it's both.
It's both.
It's both. Two things can exist at once.
Medicine can be fashion too, y'all.
Two things can exist at once, a concept that, our generation really struggles with, but it can. And I'm so excited. I hope, I'm assuming that these are actually full leggings and that someone is cutting the legs.
I think, I want to say it's Nike that's making them, but I don't want to say it.
Haven't seen them yet.
We'll get an inside scoop. We'll get an inside scoop from Lynn Williams, Good Vibes FC co-host, for everybody as soon as possible. What else is in your Midge's Fashion Minute?
No, that's it. That's all.
The two things. Okay. All right. I love that. That was great.
We'll close it out with a little song.
That was Midge's Fashion Minute. Yikes. Okay. I do have one more thing before we get to your questions. Emma Hayes was asked, I assume in the press conference, this is being tweeted by Meg Linehan. Emma Hayes was asked, do you want Spain? Meaning, do you want Spain to win this other semifinals? Do you want to play them? And Emma Hayes said, I don't care. I want a drink.
I was going to say, I don't care either.
I know. Can you guys leave me alone for a second? I need to go have a little rest, put my little feet up. Okay, we're here. We've reached the part of the show. We are going to get to hear from you, our listeners. To join us here live on YouTube, scan the QR code in the top left of your screen or click the pinned comment in the chat. That will take you into a Zoom with our producer who can tell you everything you need to know. You're not going to be on screen. It's just going to be audio. If you don't want to ask a question, just give us a like, please. It helps more than you know. Okay, when I call your name, take yourself off mute. Tell us where you're from and what's your question. Up first, we have Lucia. Lucia, hello. Take yourself off mute.
Can you hear me?
Hi. Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, perfect. I'm from Burlington, Vermont. Go Greens.
Whoa. Up the green.
Oh, yeah. So I unfortunately had a wedding the day of the women's match, and my girlfriend and I had a very serious conversation about whether or not we go to the women's match or the wedding. And unfortunately, the wedding did win.
Understandable. For those of you who don't know, Burlington, Vermont has a club soccer team called the Vermont Green, and there was a women's exhibition match over the summer that I coached, and we won, but sadly Lucia missed it. Hopefully you can make the next one though.
Oh, I will be at the next one for sure.
Okay, great. Do you have a question for us today?
Yeah, so I was wondering, what does it look like when you guys are watching a super stressful game? Like, are you yelling? Are you sitting down? Do you have to keep your hands busy? What's your house look like?
Midge, why don't you go first?
I'm not a yeller when I watch really anything. It's not. Honestly, I'm pretty stoic, and then my heart goes up and down. But I'm pretty I'm kind of don't really talk to me, and I'll make a couple comments, but I'm definitely not up out of my seat when I watch literally anything.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I think people would be so disappointed to hear that I'm not jumping up and down and yelling, but I just feel very focused, and I take little notes for my work situation, and I just watch and I try to listen and I try to just engage with the game intellectually. How boring is that?
I know they want us to be like Kelly. Kelly's
I know.
She's
Kelly
insane.
would be so fun to watch a game with. Me, Midge, I don't really know. Lucia, how are you watching a game?
I'm definitely like stress snacking a ton. And then I usually don't yell, but when Sophia Smith scored, I yelled super loud and my dog had to come check on me to make sure I was okay. So that was a good moment.
Oh, that's awesome. That was a great question, Lucia. Thank you so much for calling in. We have another caller, Caitlin Foley. Can you take yourself off mute?
Oh my gosh. Hi. Can you hear me?
Oh my gosh. Hi. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. If my mom's listening, I'm going to say hi to my mom, but this is so exciting. Hi.
My name is Caitlin.
Mom. I'm from Washington, D.C. Go Spirit. My question is about what it feels like to be on a team that's it feels like it's kind of destined to do something special together. So I'm citing maybe the 2019 team or like Gotham last year. It just felt like they were going to do something special together. And I noticed during the call or during the game, Julie Foudy said something similar, that it just feels like someone's going to step up and get the job done and get the goal. So do both of you agree? Do you feel like this team can do it? Do they have this something special? And as a player, or in a player's perspective, like how do you manage that feeling heading into the final game?
I love that question, Caitlin. That's a really, really good question. Midge, do you want to go first?
Which question? There were like 3. So
I think it's like when you're a part of a team that's destined to do something special, how does that feel?
Honestly, it's one of the coolest things ever. I can say from being a part of teams that have failed and teams that have gone on to win things, it is so special. And I honestly, it's one of those things that are inexplicable. And it's a part of sports. It's like part of the reason that you play. It's the coolest thing.
I completely agree. I think I had this a few times in my career, like especially with that 2019 World Cup team, and a few times when I was on the Courage. Like, I think you just feel so connected to everyone around you that I almost feel like you can't imagine losing. Like, you just know that everybody on your team would kind of do whatever it takes to make sure that you win. And of course, it's still possible for you to lose, but you're so present and you're so connected with your teammates that you just kind of like have these rose-colored glasses on, and things that happen that are bad don't really feel as bad because you're just really connected. You're really tight-knit. And it's kind of like, I always would have this feeling of like inevitability that we would succeed. And I think that was when I knew it was really, really special. But I love that question, Caitlin. It brings up a lot of great memories. So thank you so much for calling in. I do have a spoiler alert. If you don't want to know the score of the other game, cover your ears. But Brazil is up 1-0 against Spain. We're probably about 30 minutes in. So we will let everybody go watch that in just a couple minutes. We're going to take another question or two. Serena, if you're there, can you take yourself off mute?
Oh my gosh, hi.
Hi.
Sorry, I'm like, I can't believe it. Oh my god. Hi.
Oh my gosh.
I'm 15 and I live in Oakland, California.
Oh my gosh, Serena, that's amazing. Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you so much. I want to say a quick hi to my aunts, Rachel and Carol, who might be watching this right now, but they watch every game with me, and we like text and like scream over like text and FaceTime when we're watching it. Yeah.
Wow, that is really, really sweet. Well, hello to the aunts. Serena, do you have a question for us?
Yes, I do. Sorry, I wrote it down just in case I couldn't remember.
That's okay.
Okay. My question is, so there have been like many injuries, and obviously that has influenced the roster, and I'm also dealing with my own injury right now. So I'm wondering how players deal with injuries in between games in a tournament like the Olympics, when they play like every few days, and also how players who are still able to play like do injury prevention.
What a great question, Serena. I'm sorry to hear that you're dealing with an injury right now too. Unfortunately, Midge and I are both very familiar with injury.
Gang.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate but very real part of being a soccer player. I think for the players who are injured, everything you do becomes about your rehab and your recovery. So you spend a lot of time in the treatment room. You're doing all sorts of different things. You can get dry needling. Your nutrition becomes really, really important. Your sleep becomes really, really important. You're getting massage. You're doing exercises. Like, your whole day really becomes around rehabbing this injury. And I think the same goes for those players who are trying to stay injury-free throughout the tournament. As soon as the game ends, you're like into the locker room. You do an ice bath. You get a flush, which means you get like a 15-minute quick rub on your legs to get some of that lactic acid out. You're eating a pregame meal and you try to get as much sleep as you can. Tournaments like these are such a physical grind that you're so smart to bring up how these players are trying to prevent getting hurt and prevent this exhaustion that we're starting to see. Midge, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I think if I could tell you anything, it would just to your injury hopefully will be healed at some point, and you just have to stay disciplined and diligent in preparing for when you're back.
Thank you so much. I can't believe I'm like talking to you guys.
Oh, that you're so sweet, Serena. Good luck with your injury, and thank you so much for calling in. We're gonna take just one more question from Chris. Chris, can you take yourself off mute?
Can you hear me, Sam?
Hi, yes, we can.
So on the broadcast, they were listing all these German players that were out. And I was saying, well, what about Katarina Makera? What about Stan Buetz? All the pillars we're missing. By the way, tell Midge she should credit Florence Griffin Joyner for the one sleeve fashion, the original.
Oh, okay. I'll definitely. Midge can hear you right now, but we will definitely note that.
No, I'm gonna credit who I accredited, mostly because that's where they got it from.
Okay. My question to you, Sam, is this: Naomi Girma, should we refer to it as Christy Rampone 2.0 or Carla Overback 3.0?
What a great question. I actually, like, my gosh, looking back over the history of the national team, you're right to point out we have had so many incredible center backs. I feel like Naomi is doing something so incredible right now that I want to keep her in her own category. Like, we've been so successful in the past, and it's incredible. It's been so fun to watch players like this play. Becky Sauerbrunn has been another standout center back for this U.S. women's national team. Naomi is honestly paving her own path. She's doing her own thing. And so I think we're really, really lucky to have her. And it's really nice, though, to keep in mind the history of the team and all the incredible players that we've had before. So thank you so much for calling in, Chris. That was great to hear from you. And thank you to all of our callers, everybody who's been in the chat. If you didn't get your question answered, try again next time or just give us a like. We really appreciate everybody being so engaged. It's been really amazing to hear from you all this tournament and to experience this tournament alongside of you. Midge, like I just mentioned, the other semifinal between Spain and Brazil is going on right now. So we're going to let everybody go and we're going to get over to that. Do you have any predictions on that game? Who we're going to face in the final?
Ooh. You know, I feel like it's been these storybook endings for a lot of people. So I feel like Marta is going to get one more international game in there.
Ooh. So you think Brazil's going to win?
Well, they're up now. That being, I don't know. Spain to me doesn't look how they looked in the World Cup. Like they don't look like World Cup Spain. They look good. They don't look as amazing as they were before. I wouldn't be surprised if Brazil got through. I truly don't care, to be honest. Who do you think?
Without knowing the score right now, I would have said I think Spain is going to win. I think it's going to be a Spain-US final. Spain did come back against Colombia from being 2-0 down. So I think they're capable. I think Spain is the better team. But Brazil is playing for a lot, Midge. They want to give Marta this opportunity to play in a gold medal match. So sometimes heart can take you the whole way.
Yeah,
That's what I'd say.
We're going heart. We're going heart. We're
going heart. Okay, so the bronze medal match will be on Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern time. And the gold medal match, the U.S. women's national team versus TBD, is on Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We have one more tournament podcast dropping ahead of those matches with Becky Sauerbrunn. It will preview both remaining games, and you can look out for that on Thursday.
Then we'll be back live after the gold medal match on Saturday, right at the final whistle around 1 p.m. Eastern time with Ali Krieger. Midge, it is always such an honor to be with you. Thank you so much for sharing your incredible insights with us here today and for Midge's Fashion Minute 2.0.
Thanks for having me, Sam. Always a pleasure.
Make sure you're subscribed to this Women's Game YouTube channel so you don't miss any of our other content. All of our podcasts are available on here. And don't forget, we're dropping that pre-game podcast on Thursday with Becky Sauerbrunn ahead of the final 2 games in this Olympics. We're going live again after the final, after the gold medal match. You can also follow along across all of our social media at Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and even Threads at Women's Game MIB. Huge thanks to Midge. Huge thanks to all of our callers. I'm Sam Mewis. This is the Women's Game. Thank you so much for being here with us, and go USA!